Hello, welcome everyone to the Growth Diary. My guest today was teaching AI and cybersecurity and then went off and built a property business totally from scratch. So, Anzar Property Group now runs a highly successful property portfolio and they've appeared on Homes Under the Hammer. And he's just picked up an AI Champion of the Year awards, which is absolutely fantastic. So, congratulations on that, Nazar. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Keith, for having me.
It's great to have you on. So, just going from the beginnings, you were an academic for many years. You were teaching, researching, publishing. And what was the moment that made you think property was the path you actually wanted to take and build your life around?
Yes, I used to be an academic doing all the interesting stuff, teaching, delivering lectures to students, as you said, in cybersecurity and AI related subjects, doing research, writing papers, publishing, all the rest of it. Which is a typical university academic job. But it was not really enough, when it comes into meeting the family requirements and needs. So I had to think about something else. And then it was property. So during the first decade of this century, I started developing or thinking about the business and whether to, start buy to lets. And then we took the decision to start as a side hustling, actually, not to move completely to property business. So just to help, generating extra income. And then in 2009, we started buying more properties. And then in 2017, we set up our family company. So to start the property journey as professional property investors.
Amazing. And looking at your business model, it's deliberately narrow. You've got your buy to let, Manchester only, families only. How did you land on that level of focus? And was there ever any temptation to broaden that into different sub niches?
Yes. So basically, our business model is straightforward. It is a simple model. Basically, we buy properties that need renovation, and so we have traders. We've got the teams that do all the refurbishment works, and then we get the properties ready for tenants. We target only families. And once the property is tenanted, then 6 months to 9 months down the line, we refinance. So basically, we've got to make sure that the property is generating income. So the idea of renovation is to add value to the property and make it profitable and produces income. And this is what lenders like. So 6 months to 9 months down the line, we refinance or we remortgage, so that we can raise funds and make use of those funds to buy more properties with the same properties that we can add value on. And then basically we rent those properties and so on and so forth. It is almost the same process.
Fantastic. And you were originally living in Watford, and you decided to relocate your whole family up to Manchester to be closer to the business, and I understand that. So, but what's the reason behind going all in on Manchester specifically over other cities?
Yes, well, because when I came to this country as a student, I came to Manchester, so I had a little bit of knowledge about the city in terms of property prices in comparison to the south. So the prices were affordable. So that was the start. Basically, that was the encouragement to start here in Manchester. And then because of my job, I had to move, from one university to another. And then I ended up in the south. So I lived in Watford, and we used to manage our business remotely. So we used to come once every few months just to check things, check the properties, and if we wanted to view any other deals or properties. So once a while, every few months, we come to the north to see Manchester. Um, but then the business started to grow, and then we started to visit Manchester frequently. So once every month, and then once every week, we had to come to Manchester because of the business demand.
Mm.
So we took the decision as a family to move all of us from Watford
Yeah.
to the nice north of England.
How are you finding it out there compared to living in Watford?
Other than the weather, it is really nice. Manchester is well known with, in terms of raining in comparison to other areas. But
Yeah.
as a city, as a business city, it is booming. The economy is growing here in this city. We love it. We are enjoying it. So yeah, which
Amazing. You've appeared on Homes Under the Hammer. You mentioned that that's actually had a bit of a side effect to your business in that you're buying from auctions, and now it's brought a lot more competition as a result into the auction room. So how do you find your edge now in terms of sourcing properties?
Yes, previously we used to buy frequently from auctions, and there were lots of deals. But thanks to Homes Under the Hammer, educated people about auctions and about reading the legal packs and how to look for properties and so on and so forth. And that made those auctions, property auctions, are really competitive recently. But there are still, good deals. You just need to continuously monitor the market and check the auction market and so on. So yeah, well, we continue as usual with our business, but we also have other options in terms of finding deals. We also have our contacts with the state agents, local state agents here in Manchester, because over the years, you build a good relationship with local estate agents. They know you,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then yeah, when they know that you are a serious investor, they wouldn't mind to help you with finding properties and so on.
Absolutely. And you've got other family members running other areas of the business, such as operations and marketing, while you're heading up the strategy side of things. So what it's interesting, the concept of working with family. I know a lot of people have tried it. Some have failed probably, but working with family members must be quite interesting. What's made the family model work for you? And does it get complicated ever?
Well, good question, Keith. You know, when I was an academic and I left academia to become a property investor, I thought I would retire and get easier life and so on and so forth. But it turns out to be really challenging and busier. Having a family business, it
Mm.
has got its ups and downs. Like there is a good element of trust between the family members, but also there are challenges. There are lots of disagreements most of the time. When you have different ideas, and each family member wanted their to like not to impose their ideas, but to have their ideas considered. But it is really interesting, very very interesting. For us, it came like it was not planned, to have a family business. It
Yeah.
just came naturally
Yeah.
because when we were in Watford, we were discussing things together, and we started. When we travel to the north, we come together. We do. When we first started, we had to do things ourselves, and
Mm.
gradually things we were gradually became very connected together, and it just
Yeah.
came naturally that we've got this business together. So, but we are enjoying it, so which is important.
That's fantastic. Looking at your background in academia, you've got a PhD in intelligent agents for cybersecurity, and you recently completed a government-funded AI project for property businesses. So, how was that knowledge of your AI and your technical background reaching into the property business for you?
Yes, it is because of my background as an academic. I was and I still interested in innovation. Being an academic, regardless of your background or your subject, innovation is important for academics because you supervise students' projects all the time. Whether it is undergrads or postgrads and so on. So innovation is an important element for academics. So then what happened is that while we are managing our business, I thought, this innovation element is part. There should be, or innovation should be part of the business. So then, AI came along, especially recently when it comes into real life solutions such as generative AI, which during the last decade, the subject has grown massively. So I started thinking about how we can make use of AI to help us in our business. And I started contacting our local universities here in Manchester. We've got three quality universities. So I started developing a partnership with those universities.
Mm,
Then, part of the government funding projects for innovation, what they do is that they provide funds to the universities to develop this partnership, innovation partnership with local businesses.
mhm,
I realized, that was really good. So we took the opportunity and we agreed on a project with Salford Uni.
mm,
The idea about the project was to help us in our development projects. So, for example, like converting large properties that could be commercial, office building, a warehouse, and so on, into
mhm,
residential or multiple flats or multiple
mm,
house or a combination of both. So we took that opportunity and with the support of academics at Salford University, we managed to develop a prototype that yeah, we just finished the project actually. It was only recently, and the idea is to see how we can convert large properties or commercial properties into residential without going through the complicated process. So basically, when you do it without technology, the idea is
mm,
you need to communicate with multiple professionals. So, for example, if you have a large property, an office building, and you wanted to convert it into residential,
mm,
you've got to communicate with a planner, an architect, a quantity surveyor, and so on and so forth. So the
mm,
process is complicated. Nowadays, with AI, actually, you can use the tools available, especially generative AI, to help you with all that process in terms of planning and getting the costs for converting the building and so on and so forth. So it saves a lot of time and effort as well.
amazing. Yeah, it's incredible how far it's come as well in the last few years. It just seems like the development is accelerating, and the ability, firstly, just understanding what it can do and keeping up with that is almost one challenge in itself.
Yes, it is indeed.
You've written a number of books, 4 books, and you've made 2 of them available, readily available for free for university communities. So what's driving all the knowledge sharing alongside building your own portfolio as a separate business?
Yes, I keep coming back to my background as an academic, Keith, because it is, the nature of the job that I used to do is writing all the time. So I thought to, write a book about real estate investment, which is available on Amazon, and also write another book about money management. As you know, many people actually don't really understand how to manage manage their money and finances, and budgeting for their families and so on and
Mm,
so forth. So I thought it is really important to write a book in that subject. And then eventually I wrote two books about AI. So the first one was more about applications of AI in the real estate business,
mm.
which I made available for the property investors community, as well as for students studying AI, or maybe students doing real estate degree and so on. And the second book is also about AI, but it is more focused on the mathematics side, which I thought it would be interesting. It's just because, again, of my background as an academic. And then what I did, I made all the examples in that book related to property investment.
Mm.
So the book should appeal to property investors, as well as the people from the AI community, as well as university students. And the book is available online as well. Yes.
Fantastic. Well, that we'll make sure we put the links in the description on the episode here, so that people can easily sort of link through and get those and check them out on Amazon.
Yes.
What does the next chapter for the business look like, and what does success look like for 5 years time for you?
Well, we as a family business, we do discuss, current business strategy and how it is progressing, but also we try to discuss other strategies as well, like the one I mentioned earlier about the commercial conversions, because it is something new for us. Our business model, the current one, is about buying residential properties that need renovations, and then we do the works and get tenants into those properties. But now we are thinking of, especially now after getting the tool, the prototype ready, so now we are taking it seriously to look for larger properties that we can convert into smaller units. The good thing about it is that the government is relaxing the regulations and rules to help the property developers and investors to get into this domain. This is basically to help providing more residential properties to the community. So this is what
Yeah,
we are thinking about in the next few years. This will be the focus. But in terms of the normal business that we do on a daily basis, that is ongoing, and we continue looking for deals and renovations and
amazing. Honestly, Nasser, this has been brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us today and for being on the Growth Diary. Really appreciate it.
thank you. Thanks, Kate. Thanks a lot.